The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees and shares all things new. My name is Jennifer Nuya, streaming from Pasig City, Philippines, and you're watching the premiere episode of Decide as One on TNC. Alright, so thank you so much, Senator David, for joining us today. Can you please tell our viewers who are joining us today a brief introduction about yourself and the work that you do?
First and foremost, makakalikasang araw po sa inyo lahat, mga kababayan. Maraming salamat, Jen, sa pag-imbita at sa TNC, the new channel, no, for inviting us to the show and to discuss about our platforms, what we plan to do because we are running for the Senate. So ako po si David De Angelo. I am running for Senator number 19 sa inyong mga balota. My main platform is about the environment. Pilipino po ako, baka sabihin lang kasi yung guest mo dito Amerikano, no? Ako po ay half German, half Shepherd, pero biro lang po yan, syempre. Lumaki po ako sa Bulacan, sa Malolos, Bulacan ako pinanganak. Lumaki ako sa Quezon Province at ngayon tayo ay kasalukuyan nakatira sa Plaridel, Bulacan. So I'm also the National Chairperson of the Green Party of the Philippines, the Chairperson of Bayanan para sa Kalikasan Movement Inc. and is also part of the Board of Directors of Arterion Philippines, which is a creative artist pop culture group, involves cosplays, anime, and Japanese pop culture.
Wonderful. So how long have you been in the environmental protection space?
Yung involvement ko sa kalikasan ay I think 30 years na, no, na nasa environmental advocacy tayo. We started from sa town natin sa Atimonan, sa Atimonan, Quezon, because we joined the campaign, no, in lobbying para sa protection ng Lamon Bay area, kasi dati doon sa Atimonan may mga tinatawag tayong buli-buli. Ito yung large-scale fishing vessels na ultimo maliliit na isda ay nahuhuli. So lumaban tayo doon. After that ay sumama tayo sa National Union of Students of the Philippines to protect the rights of farmers in Quezon Province. Actually, isa sa kakilala ko na matagal na, si Senatoriable Teddy Casino. Nagkasama kami niyan way back college days, no, sa Quezon Province. So, ganun katagal, 30 years na. Kaya nga, noong 2022, when environmental organizations is creating a coalition of green candidates, isa tayo sa napasama. At nung lumaban tayo, ngayon uli, this is more of a frustration of the system that despite the good plans, the good intentions of the government, the environment is not being protected. There's continuous destruction of mountains, of forests, through mining, through reclamation, and other things.
So you mentioned about watershed protection. I'm curious, if you are elected in the legislative body, how do you plan to balance yung watershed protection at the same time yung productive agricultural land use?
I think ang unang-una dyan na dapat nating i-legislate ay yung National Land Use Act, no? Hanggang ngayon, we don't have a National Land Use Act, which is very critical in ensuring that lands are protected accordingly. For example na lang sa Pulilan, Bulacan, nanggaling ako doon, may mga dedicated lands doon for agriculture, pero kino-convert siya, nagiging siyang, either real estate or industrial lots. So marami yung nagkakaganito, hindi lang sa Pulilan, pati sa Cavite, even sa Visayas and Mindanao. So the first step is really to have a National Land Use Act and to have a moratorium on the land conversion, no? Kasi yung iba nating nakaupo sa Senado, lalo na sa Senate Committee on Agriculture, Climate Change, and Environment, ay may conflict of interest, no, sa land conversion. Kaya hindi siya tumitindig doon sa issue na yon kasi kasama siya doon sa, yung kumpanya niya, kasama sa nagko-convert ng mga lupa.
Oh, which is unfortunately,
Very
which is
unfortunate.
sad, right? Okay, so you also mentioned that you want to protect the farmers, right? So, with the farmers naman, how do we ensure that they remain adaptable, yung kanilang practices, to address the climate changes, and at the same time, we also maintain the food prices for the urban consumers. Kasi there are viewers, I'm pretty sure na nararamdaman din ninyo, no, na we have inflation. At kung sabi ko nga dun sa cashier one time when I did my grocery shopping, bakit parang feeling ko every week na lang pag nag-shop ako, tumataas yung food prices. So how can we balance that?
Marami kasing factors pag sinabi natin yung inflation. But the first thing siguro to do, lalo na sa sinasabi mo na itong agricultural prices and our farmers, isa sa naiisip natin ay una, kailangang isulong environmental-wise, yung tinatawag natin na agroecology and regenerative farming. We need to give more focus on that kasi yung monocropping natin is harming also the land. Pangalawa, sinasabi ko nga palagi na sa healthcare system, we have public school teacher. Sa education, we have public school teachers. Sa healthcare system, we have healthcare workers na funded ng government. So, mahalaga sa atin yung kalusugan, mahalaga sa atin yung edukasyon. Pero would you imagine anong mangyayari sa iyo pag hindi ka kumain? Makakapag-aral ka ba?
Of course not.
Magiging healthy ka ba?
No.
Diba? And that's the problem. We are not putting government funding into agriculture, yung pagkain natin. So, ang gusto ko mangyari, magkaroon ng programa kung saan yung farm inputs, pati yung pasweldo sa magsasaka, pupunduhan ng gobyerno. At yung produkto, kukunin ng gobyerno, sila yung magbebenta. And probably, posible yung 20 pesos na bigas kasi ang gobyerno naman hindi naman yan aim na kumita. So, if we can put up a program, whether it's a government or state-based farming, to provide our own food. Kasi nga, ang focus natin dyan is not food security, but more on food sovereignty. Kailangan natin mag-produce ng sarili natin pagkain in the face of the climate crisis that we are having. So, pagkain ang critical. Pangalawa, siyempre, yung tubig natin at yung iba pang epekto ng climate crisis na nangyayari sa atin.
That's a wonderful initiative kasi sinabi niyo yung food sovereignty. I recall during the pandemic, di ba, 2020, kung saan lahat ng mga major thoroughfares, they were closed kasi we're under lockdown. And then many people, they resorted to bartering within the local communities kasi nga, walang umaakyat o walang bumababang pagkain. So they are left to fend for themselves. Kaya talagang napaka-importante that we are self-sufficient within our community. So I would really love to see the day na maging food sovereign tayo.
Yun nga, dyan yung nakakalungkot kasi during the pandemic, I think we have learned a lot.
We have not. Actually,
We have learned a lot no pandemic. Kaya lang, we tend to forget. May ganun tayong
very true.
For example, yung urban gardening and urban farming. Nagkaroon ng mga urban farms sa mga barangay. Pero I doubt if they are being sustained. Yung mga tao, nagtanim ng mga gulay and stuff like that. Pero hindi siya nasusustain. Even in our education, di ba dati may hybrid na naman. Ngayon, hindi rin siya nasustain. So parang nasayang yung lessons learned during the pandemic. Na makaskate siya, pwede pala yung ganito. So, balik tayo dun sa pre-pandemic thinking na, wala na pandemic, balik tayo sa dati.
Oo, business as usual na naman tayo. Okay, so relative to that, di ba? So, tayo, we have archipelagic communities. divided by seas, divided by mountains. How do you intend to implement or address yung what I can consider as a trilemma? Affordability, sustainability, all right, and reliability para makatransition tayo in the Philippine context, yung ano na yan, food sovereignty na yan.
I think yung pagkain naman natin ay it's beyond the boundaries that we have. So siguro very ano kasi kailangan yung problema kasi hindi siya pag tinignan mo hindi siya isang bagay lang yung tingin mo. So pag tinignan mo itong food sovereignty program natin should also address the climate crisis that we're having. Kaya nga una kong sinusulong na batas yung Climate Emergency Act. Because we need to know anong klaseng problema ang epekto ng krisis sa klima yung tatama sa mga lugar. Bakit? Kasi kailangan tayo mag-restudy. Yun bang pagkain dito maapektuhan? Tama pa bang magtanim ng bigas dyan? O baka pwede nating ilipat? Ano ba yung climate resilient agriculture, climate resilient seeds na pwede nating gamitin? So, apektado kasi tayo na nagbabagong klima. So, it's not just about, bigyan natin ng malalaking traktora dyan. Yun kasi yung problema. It's all, bigyan mo ng traktora, bigyan mo ng pataba, pautangin mo magsasaka. These are band-aid solutions to a growing problem in agriculture. So, kailangan tingnan yon. Pangalawang kailangan tingnan ay yung subsidy on removing taxes dito sa mga agricultural products natin. Lalo na, for example, kung nagko-consume sila ng kuryente, baka naman pwedeng yung agricultural consumption na for small and medium farmers ay matanggal na sa kanila. Tapos yung ayuda sa transportation. So marami kasing bagay to ensure na we have affordable food, we have food sovereignty. Pero it starts on providing for a government, a state-funded agriculture. Kasi to be honest, pag tinanong mo yung anak na magsasaka, o ikaw ba, gusto mo bang maging magsasaka?
Yun, maraming ayaw na magsaka.
Bakit? Kasi bulubi yung mga magsasaka natin, hindi makapag-aral yung mga anak, wala man lang mga insurance, walang makain minsan, so kaawa-awa kasi yung... Pero imagine, if for example, ang sweldo ng isang magsasaka, baway ka, o sisweldohan ka ng 80,000.
Aba, bakit hindi ako magsasaka, di ba?
So yun yung usapan kasi, di ba? Kaya walang gusto, kasi pagod ka na nga, sunog pa yung ano mo sa araw, pulubi ka pa at the end of the day, kaawa-awa yung mga at ang pinakamahalaga ay pagkain. Pag wala kang makakain, paano ka makakapag-aral? Paano ka magiging healthy? Paano ka makakapagtrabaho? Diba? Tapos sasabihin nila sa akin, kasi David, yung dala-dala mong issue ng kalikasan ay hindi naman tagos sa bituka. Tagos issue ng kalikasan yun.
Oo.
And the another problem is, our politicians are speaking of issues na alam mo yung pag sinabi mo, papalakpak lahat ng tao, iboboto ka. But they are not solving the root cause of the problem. Sabi ko nga, kung iboboto nila ako, I will try to solve these problems at the core of the problem. Kasi hanggat may tinatanong ka, mataas ang presyo ng bilihin. Bakit mataas ang presyo ng bilihin? Kasi ganito, bakit ganyan? Kasi ganito. Hanggat pag tumigil ka at wala ka nang maitanong, yun yung ugat ng problema at doon ka dapat magsimula ng solusyon. Kasi the rest of that, kung yun ang anuhan mo, yung problema magsasanga-sanga lang. At ako, bilang karaniwan tao, pagod na ako na pinapasweldo natin yung mga politikong sasayaw.
Kakanta.
Sayang eh. I'm sure, nagtatrabaho tayo, ang lalaki ng taxes natin. At the end of the day, makapunta sa mga taong to na may mga babalik pa na 18 years na. Sabi, may nakalimutan, may naalala daw siya. Diyos ko kayo, di ba? Just saying.
Okay. So, can we say na, so you mentioned about root cause analysis, di ba? Solving everything from the root, all right? So, can you say also that education is part of that? And that is one of your advocacies.
It's one of the longest actually. If you look at my platform, sabi nga na iba sa ASEAN, Dave, ang haba naman ng plataforma mo. Tinatamad kaming basahin. Bakit ako tatakbo kung wala akong dadalhin, di ba? The mere fact that I have a very long platform, it means I know what I'm running, ano yung tinatakbuhan ko, ano yung gusto kong mangyari. Pero hindi ibig sabihin, ako yung expert at alam ko lahat. So, ang edukasyon, napakahalaga because I believe that what we need is a change of lifestyle, a paradigm shift, especially when it comes to environmental problems and issues. So, napakahalaga ng edukasyon. Actually, we already have an Environmental Education Act. Napakatagal na yan. If I'm not mistaken, parang 2008 pa. Pero hanggang ngayon, hindi mo makikita na i-implement sa school. So, sabi nga, there's a problem of our existing laws. So probably in education, like in K-12 for example, i-review natin itong mga batas na to. Kasi walang gusto mag-oversight sa Senado. Gusto nila paramihan ng pinapasang batas, so nobody is doing proper oversight. So, like sa K-12, tingnan natin kung paano yan maayos, paano may implement yung multiple level intelligence education. Because I believe that education, the main purpose of education is to prepare you for life. Is for you to develop critical thinking. Hindi yung, pag nagtrabaho ka, anak, kailangan mo makatawas, kailangan perfect ka, kasi kailangan mo maging ganito, maging ganito. That's not education. Kasi paano kung hindi ka nag-land ng job na gusto mo, at hindi ka handa sa critical thinking, hindi ka handa sa iba pang bagay, wala, hindi ka makakaano, mga problema ka, di ba, lahat, hindi mo kayang solve. So, I believe na critical thinking education, academic freedom, multiple level intelligence education, multiple intelligence, academic, artistic intelligence, music intelligence, everything should be developed because not everyone is, academically inclined. And we need to accept that. Hindi ba pwedeng lahat iniibobo ka kasi bagsak ka ng iba pala yung kakayahan niya, di ba? So that's the problem of our educational system.
Yeah, that I remember reading a quote that said that if you expect a fish to fly, it will always think that it's stupid, but it's not because it just have the different gifting, potential, talent, and skills. So, relative to education pa rin, no, when you are in the body na, how do you plan to address yung skills gap from the traditional education? So, nabanggit mo na kailangan natin ng critical skills or root cause analysis. What are the other things that we can implement in the K-12 curriculum that will make the next generation prepared for green economy jobs? Kasi meron ng mga green economy jobs na available.
I think for that, mahirap kasi sagutin ng director kasi it has something to do with executive functions as well. So I think the legislative, if I win as a senator, kailangan upuan niya ng talagang mga experts sa education and stuff and discuss ano ba yung pwede natin gawin para makatulong dun sa skills gap. Kasi mahirap na pag ako nasasagutin ko yung tanong mo pero it's more of a, kasi pag senador ka, it's more of a legislative function. So we will assist whatever is the result of experts discussion and stakeholders discussion regarding the solutions to the skills gap. Lalo na sa mga green jobs kasi papunta tayo dun And hopefully those green jobs are true green jobs.
I appreciate your honesty, Senator Angelo, kasi marami ngayon sa mga nakaupo how to better tell it. Hindi talaga sila expert, pero nandoon sila nakaupo.
Sinabi ka sa akin din yan. I was asked to DCRH, lahat ba nung plataforma mo ay alam mo na ba lahat kung anong gagawin mo? Hindi ko naman alam lahat ang gagawin ko dyan. Kasi I'm running.
Wala problema doon.
I'm running.
Huwag ka lang magpanggas.
Kasi pag nandun ka na, you have your policy directions. Then you have to consult those policies with stakeholders. Kasi baka mamaya mali ako Baka nang mamaya akala ko ito ang tama pero pagkaba mo sa ground, mali naman pala. So you have to consult everybody on the ground. Sa agriculture, you have to talk with the farmer, di ba? Hindi pa pwedeng, ito pinag-aralan ko na yan kasi sabi ng doctorate sa UP, ganito ang gawin. Mas maalam pa yung magsasaka kung tutusin kaysa doon sa doctorate sa UP na at one point, di naman talaga nakapagtanim, di ba? So, theory is different from experience on the ground. So, you have to blend that together and, when you come up with the law, it should be a law that is consulted with the stakeholders, properly consulted with stakeholders. Hindi yung nagpaperma ka lang, may consultation ka na.
Thank you.
Maraming ganun.
Thank you for highlighting that. All right. So, do you have any parting words to our viewers who joined us today? What else have I not asked you that you would like them to know before we say goodbye?
Yung plataforma natin actually ay centered on various aspects. So, one of our platform is, pag nanalo tayo, we start on the declaration of a climate emergency. We ask the national government to declare a national climate emergency because we have a climate crisis and the problem is that yung ating consistent na yung trend that we have gone beyond 1.5 and scientists are saying that baka mag 2 degrees na. So, uunahin natin yung Climate Emergency Act. So, resolbahin natin yung problema sa ating pagkain, agricultural system, resolbahin natin at aayusin ang ating healthcare system. Aayusin din natin yung ating problema sa edukasyon. Marami pong aayusin. Pero, mga kababayan, hindi po yan magagawa ng tao na wala namang alam, hindi pinagdaanan yung mga problemang ito. Kasi, kung yan ay alam nila, dapat yung mga dati pa ulit na tumatakbo ay naresolba na po yan. Hindi po yan mariresolba ng mga dinastiya, ng mga trapo, na ang gusto lamang ay kayo ay lokohin at sila ay makaupo sa pwesto para makapagnakaw. Mga kababayan, magtiwala po tayo sa bago na ang interest po ay ang inyong ikabubuti. At ako po ay nananawagan sa inyo, subukan niyo po si David D'Angelo, number 19, Boses ng Kalikasan sa Senado. Bigyan po natin ng boses ang kalikasan, bigyan po natin ng boses ang katutubo, at sama-sama po tayo lumikha ng kinabukasan para sa ating mga anak at sa susunod na henerasyon. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat po. So how can they continue, our viewers, to follow you on social media, connect with you so that they can support you in your work?
You can visit my Facebook page, facebook.com, D'Angelo for Senator. D'Angelo for Senator. At sa social media accounts, that's at David D'Angelo PH, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, may TikTok tayo. And also website, DeAngeloDavid.com. They can also support our campaign by volunteering and by donating. Meron po kaming high five kay D'Angelo, 5 piso. 19 pesos, 19 sa Senado. So, any amount we do, kahit nga piso ibigay nyo sa akin, okay lang Kasi yung pondo talaga natin, tayo ay miyembro ng partidong LP, La Pera. Kaya kailangan ko namin na suporta ninyo kasi marami sa mga La Pera ay yun yung makakapag-solve po sa problema ng bayan kasi pinagdaanan yung problema ng bayan.
Totally agree. And thank you everyone for spending your day with us. I hope that you learned a lot, as I also learned a lot from David D'Angelo. And have a good rest of your day and evening, depending where you are in the world. And Majorem. Dei Gloriam.